Hello, everyone. We would like to thank you for joining today's session. Welcome to the webinar on the CBAM Transitional Registry usage. Today's webinar is the second one on the CBAM Transitional Registry. This event is organized by Directorate General Taxation and Customs Union, DigiTaxud, of the European Commission. My name is Maria Piperia, and I'm part of the ITSM 3 Test CBAM team. Today, we are going to present to you how to declare the emissions for the cement and aluminium sectors. Also, we will organize 2 more webinars for the rest 4 sectors. Next slide, please. I would like to mention that there are many participants in this meeting, so please let me quickly introduce a few rules about this webinar. Please make sure that you appear in Zoom with your name and affiliation. If needed, update your name by following the steps shown on the screen. As you can see here, you can click on the participants icon in the Zoom toolbar. In the participants window, next to your name, you can click on More and then choose the Rename choice. Enter a new name and click Rename. So then, from the participants, you can see that your name has been renamed. This is useful for us when addressing questions raised by you. Now, let's move on to the next slide, and we will see some more details about the housekeeping rules. I would like to mention that all participants are already muted, and they will remain muted during the presentation to avoid the interruption of the demonstration. Please note that we are recording this webinar and you are not allowed to record it yourself. Please feel free to write your questions in the chat. The chat is available for all participants and questions will be answered at the end of the webinar. Also, I would like to mention that we will respond only in technical questions. After this session, a survey will show on your screen. It's only 4 questions and you need less than 2 minutes to respond it. Your feedback is very valuable for us to know what is important for you and in which areas we need to focus. So please remember to provide a response. Finally, the presentation will be uploaded on the DigiTaxud CBAM webpage, and you can easily download it. Now, let's next slide, please. Thank you, Adriana. Now, let me provide you some more answers to the most frequently asked questions of the previous CBAM Transitional Registry session. First of all, the CBAM Transitional Registry User Manual for declarants has been published to Europa site. We receive a lot of questions for this manual in the previous webinar, so please free to download it from the Europa site. Also, the latest provisional list of the National Competence Authorities, NCAs, is available on the Europa site, but there are still 2 member states pending to appoint their NCA. You can check the NCA's provisional list to find the NCA contact information of the member state you are established in order to request granting you access to the CBAM registry. And at this point here, I want to mention that NCAs are the exclusive responsible authorities to manage the CBAM registry access, and the European Commission is not responsible for managing the CBAM registry access for CBAM declarants. Now, I will give the floor to my colleague Adriana Machera to proceed with the CBAM registry presentation and with a demo. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Maria. Good afternoon to all. My name is Adriana Machera, and I'm a member of the CBAM team that develops the CBAM transitional registry. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So let's see what are the topics for today. So in the following slides, we will make a brief introduction to the CBAM transition registry. Then we will go through the CBAM report state transition diagram to see the available actions for the CBAM declarants in the Declarant Portal. Then we will continue the access. Sorry. Then we will continue the access with the access to the CBAM Declarant Portal. We will see how we can register operators and installations in our account in order for us to use them when we create a CBAM report. We will see the homepage, the navigation. We will go through the CBAM report to navigate to the different pages. Then we will see. Okay, can you hear me well now? Okay. Then we will go through the report actions. We will see the My Importers, some of the menu items, the My Importers, the profile information, the preferences. Then we have also a dedicated slide with supporting documents for you to search. And then we will proceed with the demo. At the end of the session, there will be allocated time for for us to answer your questions that will be on the chat. This is quite heavy, but it is very important for you to have a picture of how the CBAM report is structured. So there are 3 levels. The top level is the header information. This level contains the report issue date, the draft report ID, the report ID which is allocated when the report is successfully submitted in the CBAM system, the reporting period for which this report is declared, and the year. Then we have information regarding the reporting declarant, the representative, the importer, the national competent authority. We have a section for the signatures and a section for remarks. The header of the report, the CBAM report, contains CBAM goods, 1 or more. Each CBAM good contains inside, again, the representative and the importer, if these are different for every CBAM good imported. The commodity code, so the HS code, the harmonized system subheading code, and the combined nomenclature. The description of this commodity code, the country of origin. There are also there is also information for the imported quantity per customs procedure. And inside this group, there are the procedure details, the import processing information, if we're talking about import processing, the area of import, the goods measured per procedure, and the special references for goods. After that, there is the quantity for the imported good that we are declaring in the specific good entry, the good imported total emissions, supporting documents that maybe we need to declare and attach, and the remarks. Now, every good has at least 1 emission entry, what is called the installation entry. For the emission, if we go to the 3rd level, then for the emissions, we have the emission sequence number, the country of production, which is very, very important, the installation operator, the installation itself with their details, the quantity of the good produced in the specific installation, the installation emissions, direct and embedded emissions, indirect embedded emissions, the production method used to produce this good in the specific installation, and the qualifying parameters, the emission qualifying parameters. Then we have the supporting documents for the emission definition, any attachments, and there is also a group for the carbon price queue. And in there are also the products covered under the carbon price queue and their quantity. And also there is, of course, a remark section. As you can see, this remark section is present in all levels of the report. I'm leaving this slide a bit so that you can see it. So this is the header level, the goods item level. As you can see, this is the multiplicity. You can have up to 10,000 goods inside the CBAM report. And each CBAM good can have 1,000 emission entries. Let's proceed. This is the CBAM report state transition diagram related to the declarants. So starting from nothing, we can either fill in a report in the declarants portal manually or upload this report via the upload functionality and upload a zip file containing the XML. This report then will be displayed in the CBAM Declarants Portal. And the first thing we need to do is to save the report as draft so that we don't lose it. A lot of saves can be done as needed and edits. And when the report is ready and we want to submit it, we will continue by clicking on the submit button so that the report is validated. And of course, upon successful validation, the report will change state and will go to the submitted state. Here as well, we can do a lot of amendments if we want. We can Okay, let me try again and talk a bit louder. I'm sorry for that. So let's start from the beginning in this slide. So we can fill in the report manually or upload it via the XML functionality that is available for you. Once the report is uploaded, we need to save the report as draft so that we don't lose the information that we have uploaded. And we can, of course, do any edits, and a lot of edits to complete our report. As soon as we are confident that our report is ready for submission, we can submit it so that the validation takes place. And upon the successful validation, this report will change state and will go to the submitted state. At this stage, the official report ID will be allocated to our CBAM report, and we can still do amendments as long as the amendment period is still open. Now, as you can see here from the submitted state, we go to the under amendment state, we validate and save our report, and then we submit our report again. As long as the reporting period is still open, we can also invalidate our report so that we can maybe create a new report instead of this one. The invalidated state is final and there are no other actions to to do in this report. So take a look of this, and maybe we can continue. So this is the two links for for accessing the CBAM in the production environment for the declarant and in the conformance environment for the declarants. When entering in the CBAM Declarants Portal, the user will be redirected to the Where Are You From page from UUMDS. In this page, we need to select for the domain the carbon border adjustment mechanism. Maybe some of you already are familiar with this page, of course. You need to select the country where you want to be authenticated, the type of actor, the type of ID, and your ID. Access is only allowed to importers, indirect customers representatives, and their employees registered in UUMDS. Upon successful login, the declarant will be redirected to the CBAM Declarants Portal. So here you can see that we are in the CBAM portal. This is my name, demo user, and this is the home page. Let's see each element of the home page. The first one is named My Quarterly Reports, and if we click on this, we will see a table organized per quarters of the year. For each quarter, a CBAM report might exist. Then we have the installations and operators menu items, where you can edit, create your registry of installations, the installations with which you work often, and also their operators. In the My Importers menu item, you can see the list of importers that are included in your CBAM reports. And apart from, there are also two things in this page. The first thing is the importer's profile. And then we have also the importers, the comparison of goods for each importer between the declared quantity in CBAM and the quantity declared in the customs import declarations. Here we can see the profile information of the user logged in. On the left side is the reporting declarant information. On the left side is the information of the user logged in, and on the right-hand side, we can see the reporting declarant information. There is also the information page now that is available. Let's move forward. So this is a slide for the operators registry. The CBAM system allows to store information for third country operators of the installation producing CBAM goods. So it is possible to create an operator, to edit an operator, or to delete a record of an operator. And the same is valid for the installations registry. We can create installations, edit any record of the installation, or delete one if not needed. Every installation is linked with one operator. So here you see the screen of the installation creation, the creation of the installation. This is the installation ID. All the mandatory fields are marked with asterisk. Here you can see that there is also indicated the maximum number of characters allowed in every field. And when we create the installation, at some point we need also to search in the third country installation operators registry in order to link the current installation with one of the operators that we have already registered. So in order to do this properly, we need first to create the operators and then create the installations so that we can actually link the installations with the operators. And let's move on. This is the screen of my quarterly reports. The reason why we didn't start with this screen is because the installations in the registry and the operators in the registry can be searched when we create a CBAM report so that we can fill in their information inside without typing every time the same details. So the My Quarterly Reports is a table view that is organized per quarter of the year. We can see that for every open quarter, we can create a report or upload a zip file that will include the XML of the CBAM report and any relevant attachments. It is only possible to create or upload a CBAM report when the reporting period is open for submission. Let's assume that we have created a report in order for us to fill in all the information from the user interface. In the heading level information, we have 5 different tabs. The first tab that is displayed when the report is open is the reporting declarant information. The second tab is related to the importer details, if the importer is common for all the goods imported. The third tab is the representative details, if representative is common for all goods imported. The fourth tab is related to the competent authority reference number. And the fifth tab is allocated to the signatures, which are mandatory for you to sign in order for the CBAM report to be valid. So there is a confirmation of data inserted and a confirmation of data usage inside the signatures. We will see everything in a bit. So this is the header information. This is the reporting declarant page. The identification number and the member state of establishment are pre-filled and non-editable. This information comes from the login details. We can edit the name of the CBAM declarant. Then we need to select a role. There are 3 options, as you can see here. And also enter a city. Let's move on to see the importer page. This is the importer page, and since we are in the header of the report, we can declare the importer at the header. If the importer is common for all goods imported, as we said before, and I will repeat it as we go through. There are 2 ways of declaring an importer. If the declarant acts as an importer, then it is possible to check this box here so that the details are transferred in the importer page automatically. If the importer is different than the reporting declarant, then we can press in the Add Importer button, and the important details will be displayed in order for us to fill in all the information needed. The same applies for the representative. Here is the representative page. The first thing that we can see is that we can declare the declarant to act as a representative or to add a representative, so that the representative details are shown and we can fill in the details. Let's move on to the to see the competent authority page. The competent authority reference number is automatically filled in, as you can see here, and it is disabled. And it is based on the country where the reporting declarant's EORI number belongs to. If it is not filled in automatically, the user needs to contact the respective national competent authority service desk right away, because this field is mandatory, and without this, it is not possible to submit the report successfully. Let's move on to see the signatures. So this is the fifth and last tab. Normally, I would advise to fill in this information once the entire CBAM report is ready. We can see here that we need to specify the date of the signature, the place, the full name of the signing person, and the position of the person signing. There are two checkboxes here. The first one is to certify that the data provided in this form is accurate and complete. The information is accurate and complete. Yeah. The second checkbox is related to the fact that the information provided in this CBAM report are to be used and shared between EU Commission and competent authorities in accordance with the regulation. You can read it by yourselves. All these fields in the signatures are mandatory in order to submit a valid report. Let's go through the actions that are available in the header of the report. Some actions are available in all states, and some actions are related to the current state that the report is. So here we have a draft report open. So what we can see here is that we can cancel the view of the report, and by canceling it, we will return to the My Quarterly Report screen. We can also preview the report. It is also possible to validate the report header. It is very important also to save the report frequently as we go. And when we are ready, of course, we can submit our report. Let's move forward. Please remember that you can raise your questions in the chat, of course. Let's try to get a bit slower. I'm sorry for that. So here we are in the CBAM report. We have filled in all the information in the header. And we want now to add a good in our report. There are two ways to do that. One way is to click on this Add Good button. The other way is to go here and click the Add Good button. In the main window, there is a table-like view where you can see all the goods that are inserted in the CBAM report and some information regarding the good. So the CN code will appear as it is here displayed, the country of origin, the importer, if it is declared at this stage at the goods imported level, the representative, the quantity, and the total emissions of the goods imported. You can see also that in all screenshots that are in the presentation, there is this box at the top. We will discuss about this box later on, but it is important to say that here we can see the distinct information of our report. Who is the declarant? Which MCA is responsible for us? The reporting period for which this report is declared, the report ID if it is submitted. We will have the official report ID here. The issue date, when it is submitted, we will have also a date here. The state of the report, how many goods are inside our CBAM report, and what is the total quantity of emissions for the CBAM goods that are declared. And on the top right, we have always the action buttons. Let's move on. Since we have already entered all the information in the header of the CBAM report, and we added a good in order for us to add the details in the good imported, let's go and see an overview of all the tabs that are available in the goods imported level. As you can see, we have again the importer and the representative. So in case that we haven't declared the importer in the header level, which means that the importer is not common for all the goods that we have imported, we will have to declare the importer in each good entry. The same applies for the representative. If the representative vary, then this must be declared in each good entry. In case that the importer and the representative are already declared in the header of the CBAM report, these two tabs will not be visible in our screen. In that case, we will only have two tabs, the goods imported, which is the main, let's say, page to declare our CN code, the country of origin, the quantity, any customs procedures, and more. And we have also the supplementary tab where we can include any additional information and attachments that might be relevant to the specific CBAM good. This is a slide with what I just said before, that we need to declare importer at goods imported level if importers are not common for all goods that are imported. The same applies for the representatives. Declare the representative at goods imported level if representatives are not common for all goods imported. In case that the importer and or representative are declared in the header level, the corresponding tabs are hidden on the goods imported level. Shall we move on? Let's see now the goods imported tab, since the important representative tabs are the same with the header level. And let's look at the information that is displayed here, and we need to fill in. The first section is related to the commodity code. We have the HS subheading code and the CN code, and as soon as these are filled in, the description is filled in automatically, but of course we can change it. Then we have the country of origin. We need to declare where these goods come from. We have the imported quantity per customs procedure, and we can add as many as 9 inside our CBAM report. For the request procedure, for the imported quantity per customs procedure, we have the area of import that we need to declare, the procedure, the request procedure from customs. If there is any previous procedure, the net mass, so the quantity, the net weight of our CBAM good that is under the specific procedure, the type of measurement unit that could be tons or kilograms, and any special references for goods. Then we have, further down, we have the quantity that is imported for the specific CN code and the type of the measurement unit. And at the end, we have the goods imported total emissions. The total emissions, the emissions per unit of product, per ton of product, the goods direct emissions, and the goods indirect emissions. If we move on, we will see the supplementary tab. This page exists both in the goods imported level and in the emissions level. Here we can see that we can add any additional information we want in this text area. And if we need to add supporting documents, we click on the Add New, and we need to specify the type of supporting document that we want to add. It is advised to also add the country of document issuance. We need the reference number because it's mandatory. Any document line number that you want to specify, the issuing authority name, the validity start date, and the validity end date of the document. Any description that fit your needs, and then you can choose to upload a file. The allowed file types are PDF, docx, so Word documents, Excel documents, JPEG, and the maximum allowed file size is 20 megabytes. You can also specify any URL where the document resides, so that it is clicked and we can go and visit the document. Since we have already, let's say, go through the CBAM goods imported level, let's proceed with the emissions level. So in order to add an emission in our CBAM report, we need to press this button, add an emission. And we can, of course, delete an emission also. And the first screen is the installation screen. Let's go to have an overview of all the tabs that are present in this first slide of the emissions level. Each emission entry contains 5 tabs. The first tab is the installations tab. And this is where we declare the country of production, the installation, and the third country operator. Then we have the emissions, the emissions tab. Moment, please. Sorry for that. Then we have the emissions tab. In this page, we declare the direct and the indirect embedded emissions for the quantity imported. Then we have the parameters tab, where we declare the production method and any emissions, direct and indirect emissions qualifying parameters. The next tab is the carbon price due, to declare any carbon price due in a country abroad. And we have also a supplementary tab where we include any additional information, any attachments that might be relevant to the specific emissions entry of the CBAM good. For example, the calculation model for the emissions should be attached. Let's dive into the details of every page of these 5 tabs. The first one is the installation tab. The country of production is mandatory. We need to declare where this our CBAM good was imported, was produced, and then we can the third country operator and third country installation are optional elements, optional groups, but it is advised to define them. And as we said before, it is also advised to use the operator and installation registries to register your frequently used operators and installations in order to facilitate the completion of this data in the CBAM report. So this is where, for example, we will use our registry information. When we add a third country operator, we can search in our registry, and the same applies when we declare our installation. Let's see how the page, how it looks like when we try to add a new operator. So these are the details that we need to add, but if we have the operators that are inside our registry, we can search and select the operator that we want, so that we can all the details are filled in automatically in this form. We can, of course, delete an operator, and we can add contact persons, more than one. in our third country installation operator. Here is the page, the details that we will need to fill in if we need to add to declare our installation. Again, we can search in our installation registry and fill in automatically all the information related to this specific installation. We can delete the installation that we have just added. And let's see now the emissions tab. For all goods except electricity, both direct and indirect abatement emissions need to be reported. So here we have a lot of information. The first section is the quantity that is produced in the specific installation and in the specific country of production. Then we have the section for the direct embedded emissions. This is where we declare the specific direct embedded emissions and their measurement unit. It is always tons, CO2 per ton of product. Then we have the indirect embedded emissions, where we declare again the source of emission factor, the source of electricity, etc. We will see all this during the demo. And the next and last section is the installation emissions. The total emissions for this installation, the total direct and the indirect. Let's go now and see the parameters tab, where the production methods reside, along with the emissions qualifying parameters associated with the specific CBAM good. The contents of the tab vary based on the good selected. The production method is mandatory. The emission qualifying parameters are optional. There are three sections in this page. The production method section, which was presented in the previous slide, the direct emissions qualifying parameters, and the indirect emissions qualifying parameters. If we want to add a new entry of direct or indirect emissions qualifying parameters, we need just to press on the Add New button. Then we will move on to the carbon price due page, where there is a disclaimer here. You can read it. And we can add a carbon price due if we need to declare this information. When adding the carbon price due, here is the information we need to fill in: the country code where the carbon price was due, the type of instrument, the description and indication of legal act, the amount, the good that is covered, and the quantity of the good that is covered under this carbon price due group. This is the supplementary tab. It is the same as in the goods imported. The only thing that is different is the type of documents that are, let's say, available for you to choose from. Of course, you can add your attachments or specify the URL where the specific document resides, as we've said before. Let's move on. It is important to validate and save separately every good imported along with its emissions. When you see this icon, it means that your good is not validated. And if you validate the good and then you get some numbers, it means that there are, for example, here there are 3 validation errors in the good level, in the good item level, and 44 validation errors in the emissions. And if we can see the details, in the first emission, there are 18 validation errors, in the second, 13, and in the third, 13. You can always delete your emissions from here. Let's move on. Let's discuss a bit about the actions that are, let's say, in accordance with the state transition diagram of the CBAM report. Once a report has been created, the Save as Draft button needs to be clicked in order to save the header of the report. As we said before, once you you enter one good entry, you need to save this entry as well in order for it to be, let's say, saved inside the report. So here we have the Save as Draft and the Submit button. We can always delete the displayed draft if we want to create a new one or upload an XML, and we can edit it as well. The edit of the report is permitted when the report is in the state draft, under amendment, or under correction. The report header can be validated by clicking the Validate button. And of course, we can submit the CBAM report, and the CBAM system will run the validations, and if no error occurs, the report status will change to submitted, and an official report ID will be assigned to a report. A declarant can perform changes to a report by selecting the amend action when the report is in the submitted state. If the amend button is clicked, the report will change state and will go to the under amendment state. So here you can see, for example, that the amend is only available when the state of the report is submitted. We can invalidate a report, as we said before, as long as the reporting period is still open. And this is, if we invalidate the report, this will be a final state. The report will change to the invalidated state. We can download the PDF of our report. And let's move on to see the next items of our homepage, the My Importers screen. This is a list of all importers used in the CBAM reports of a reporting declarant. For each importer, we can see the profile information, as well as the comparison of the goods data from the submitted CBAM report with the data associated from the customs import declaration. Here is the comparison, the goods imported. You can see that it is organized, the view is organized per reporting period. We can see the CN code, the country of origin, the CBAM quantity declared for the specific CN code, and the quantity from the customs import declarations. There is also my profile information available for you. Here you can see these are read-only fields. You can see the logged in user information and the declarant information on the right-hand side. You can edit the contact details here to enter your phone and email address. You can see also your preferences by clicking here. You can manage your preferences. You can select your language and also specify your email address. And that's it. This is a slide for you to see the any supporting documents for the CBAM system, the CBAM regulation, the implementing act, the annexes of the CBAM implementing regulation, the provisional list of the NCAs, and the user manual for the CBAM Declarant Portal. We will now have 5 minutes break and we will resume to start the demo. So I have typed in the URL for our development environment here in SoftDev. And now I will proceed to the ECAS to put my, this is the where are you from page that we were presenting before. So I will act as I will select the carbon border adjustment mechanism domain. Then I will select Belgium for my country where I want to be authenticated. I am an economic operator. The type of ID is EORI, and this is my EORI. I'm acting on behalf of myself, and I give my consent to request my identity profile information and share it with UMDS. I submit this button. And here we are redirected in the EU login page, where I will put my username and one moment to find my password as well. I'm ready. And now we press in the sign in button. And since the login is successful, I am redirected in the CBAM Declarant Portal, where I can see the home page. Maybe I can, do you see it? Maybe I can zoom out. Okay. This is my ORI number, my name, and let's go to create an operator and then create also an installation. I will, there will be 2 sectors covered. For the cement, we will proceed by creating a report and fill in the data in the different forms of the report so that you have the ability to see how it is to actually fill in the data inside the CBAM report live. And for the aluminium, we will choose to upload the zip file that contains the XML. Okay. So I will create an operator for the cement sector. I have already added an operator for the aluminium sector. We can see this displayed information, edit. You can see here the information. We can cancel it to go back to the operators registry, and then I will create my new operator with the ID. This is my ID, the ID of the third country installation operator. Sorry. The operator name is send money back to them. The country code is Japan. The city is Tokyo. I will leave all this information without filling them in, since these are optional. I will need to add the contact details of the person who will be the contact person. This will be Yogi Yoshida, and his email is at CBAM Manufacturing .gp for Japan. Let's put also phone number. And we are ready to create our operator. Yes, the operator is my own, right? I just typed in some numbers and alphanumeric characters, right? So when we create the operator ID, the ID is, let's say, handled by us. I press the create button. And here we can see that my new operator is visible in the operators registry. Let's go to the installations registry to create my installation for the cement sector. I press the create button. The ID again is of my imagination. The installation name is CBAM Manufacturing Kumano. The country of establishment is Japan. And here I need to link my third country installation operator. So I will search in my operator registry and I will click on the cement manufacturing third country operator record. I press OK. And the details are now inside my installation. I can delete and search again, of course. We are ready. Our installation is OK. And I will press the create button. OK. Let's go now to create our CBAM report. Please note that this is a development environment. So everything you see here, it doesn't mean that you will see it in the production. I mean, in terms of buttons, right? I will create my report for Q3 2023 because it is a development environment. We have more than the usual quarters open for development and testing purposes. So I will create our report for Q3 of 2023. I press the create button and our report is now open. The first thing we need to do is to put our draft report ID. Let me put something here, the date, for example, 11, 23, 23rd, and let's call it the 1. Okay. My name will be Mark Smith, and my role is to be representative for all goods. My member state is Belgium. As you can see here, we cannot edit the identification number, the EORI, and the member state of establishment. because these come from the login details, and we need to specify a city because this is mandatory. We are in Brussels. We are based in Brussels. And I will leave the other fields empty because I don't know any street in Brussels to put in right now. And let's go to the importer. There is an importer which is common for all the goods that we will import. And it is not the declarant because the declarant is a representative. So I will press the add button to add the importer details. My importer is Simon Wilson. His identification number is JP for Japan, 0034127789. This is a third country identification number. And the member state is, again, the country of establishment is Japan. And the city is Tokyo. I just filled in the mandatory information for my importer, and I will move on to the representative. Here I will click this checkbox, declarant acts as representative. So I will not need to add any details. And we can move on to the competent authority tab to see the reference number of our competent authority. It is the BE00017. We cannot edit this information because this is where we belong. It is not an option to change it. And the last tab is the tab of the signatures, where I will put the date of today. And the place of signature is Brussels. But I will not sign right now because I haven't finished with my report. So what I need to do is to add a good. So we are in the header level information, and by clicking on the goods imported, the page that opens is the goods imported view, the table view. We don't have any goods right now in our CBAM report. So I will add a good. And because I have declared the importer and the representative in the header level, we cannot see these tabs here. So we have only the goods imported and the supplementary tab to fill in the information required. So my commodity code is 252329. You can see that as I type, the system searches to find the record that matches my typing, right? So now I will select this record, and as you can see for the CN code, the CN codes are already filtered because of the HS code selected. So the only option I have is the 00 here, and this is the other Portland cement, but I don't like the word other, so I can remove it. And this is Portland cement for my CBAM report. The country of origin is again Japan. And let's go to fill in the imported quantity per customs procedure. So this is a classification. This is a classification related to customs. We can have up to 9 entries of imported quantities per custom procedure in order to, let's say, classify our goods regarding the procedure used in the customs. And let me select the area of import. We have two options here. The EU by means of customs import declaration, which means that there is an import declaration in customs for this specific CBAM CN code. And there is another also option, the EU auth, the EU by other means, which means that there is no customs import declaration for this entry. I will choose EU by means of customs import declaration, and under the procedure, I will choose the first one, release for free circulation of goods simultaneously redispatched in the context of trade between. The previous procedure is not mandatory. I will not choose something here, or maybe I will choose something that I will remove later in order for you to see how this works if the previous procedure is inward processing. So if I choose either the 51 code or 54, you will see that some additional fields will appear. Here we are. All this section is related to the inward processing. We need to fill in this information. The member state of inward processing authorization. This is B for me, Belgium. If there is an inward processing waiver for the bill of discharge, my authorization, at least the number. So something for my mind. The globalization time start and the globalization time end. The deadline for submission of the bill of discharge, which is very important. And as you can see, all these fields were entered in our form because my previous procedure is inward processing. If I remove this entry, the inward processing, the fields disappear. Let's continue like this in the simple mode. And now we need to declare the quantity under this requested procedure. I have only one requested procedure in my scenario, and I have imported 100 tons of cement, of Portland cement. So since I have only one request procedure, I put the entire amount of my imported tons here. If we move on, and we see that there is the section, the goods measure imported. When you see goods measure, it means quantity. And you will see it in all two levels, in the two levels of the report, the goods imported level and the goods emissions level. As you can see, I cannot do anything here. These are disabled. Why? Because these are calculated from the declared emissions, from the quantities that are declared in the emissions level. And as you can see, we have also another section here, the goods imported total emissions. And again, these are disabled and will be calculated from the emissions level. And maybe you want to know how these emissions are calculated. So the goods total emissions is the sum of the goods direct emissions and the goods indirect emissions. The goods emissions per unit of product is the division of the quantity of the product divided by the let me see, divided by the So it starts. Yeah, the goods emissions per unit of product is the net mass. It is the value, the result of the division of the goods total emissions divided by the quantity of the goods measured. So what we have here divided by the quantity imported. This is what is the result of this element. Then the goods direct emissions is the sum of all direct emissions inside our emissions entries. Sorry, here, my bad. And the goods indirect emissions is the sum of all the indirect emissions in our emissions entries. Okay. So since we don't have anything else to add here, we will go also in the supplementary information. For now, I will not add any attachments, but I will add a remark. Okay. Now you can see here that our good has some distinct information. It has the CN code and the country of production. If you hover with your mouse here, you can also get some information. So for example, here is the CN code, and this is, sorry, the country of origin. When the tons will be added, we will also see the tons of CO2 emissions here. Let's add an emission to our CBAM report. So the first thing we need to do is to add our country of production, which is Japan. And I will also add the installation that we have prepared in our registry. Sorry, the operator, the third country installation operator. I will search in my operators registry. I will click on SEM manufacturing in Japan. I will press OK. And the third country installation operators information is pre-filled. I will do the same for my installation. The only thing is here now that if you search in the installation registry, you will see that you have only the linked installation with the operator selected. So I select my installation, I press OK, and all the information is filled in. Let's move on to the emissions tab. The first thing we need to do is to declare the quantity that is produced in the specific country of production in the specific installation. So for our case, yeah, what is the difference between operator and installation? So every the installation is the installation plant, the factory, where the CBAM goods are produced. The installation operator, no, it is not necessary to add installation operator, installations and operators inside the CBAM report. It is advised to do so. The installation of the third country operator is the contact point for the CBAM declarant related to the specific installation. We move on to the emissions tab. So here the goods we said that when you see goods measure, it means quantity. The goods measure produced means how much how many tons of my 100 tons of good are produced in the specific installation. Because I'm quite straightforward, all the tons are produced in the specific installation, and of course it is the measurement unit is tons. And then we need to move on and declare our direct embedded emissions. We have the type of determination here, which has two options: actual data or other methods, including default values. I will go for the actual data. And here is the, we need to declare what kind of reporting methodology we have used to calculate our emissions, our embedded emissions. So there are two options here: commission rules and other. If I choose the other option, you will see that the applicable reporting methodology becomes mandatory. Because since we didn't use what commission knows, we need to specify what applicable reporting methodology we have used. I will go for the commission rules since I used this calculation model. The specific direct embedded emissions is, let me find my, here it is. The specific direct embedded emissions is 0.72, 0.7852. And the type of measurement unit is tons. The specific direct embedded emissions is the ratio between the tons of CO2 that are produced in order to produce 1 ton of Portland cement. If we move on, we will see the section for the indirect embedded emissions. Again, I will choose the actual data. And here we have the source of emission factor, which is also a drop-down list. And it has two options: either to select the other option or to select the commission based on the data. I will go for the second option. And you will see that if I don't click on anything, you will see that these elements are all enabled apart from the, with the exception of the specific indirect embedded emissions. If I select commission based on air data, the emission factor is pre-filled with the default value of the emission factor for Japan. The source of electricity, we have three options: received from the grid, bilateral power purchase agreement, and direct technical link to electricity generator. I will go for the third option, received from the grid. And then we need to declare the electricity consumed to produce our product, the quantity of our product, 91.5. And the type of measurement unit refers to the specific indirect embedded emissions. It's tons CO2. So now we have declared our direct embedded emissions, our indirect embedded emissions, and the quantity that has been produced in our country of production, which is Japan. And in the specific installation, since I have declared my installation as well. Here you can see that there is also another section the installation emissions. And these are calculated fields as well. The installation total emissions is the sum of the installation direct emissions and the installation indirect emissions. And the installation direct emissions is a calculated field that is related to the installation direct embedded emissions, the specific direct embedded emissions, multiplied with the quantity. The same happens for the installation direct emissions. It is quantity divided by the specific indirect embedded emission. Parameters tab. Here we can see that we already have a production method that is mapped with a specific CBAM code. What happens with the production methods? Every CBAM code can have one or more production methods. These are mapped internally in the CBAM system, and in the parameters tab, they come as pre-filled. The same applies for the emission qualifying parameters. For every CBAM code under specific production method, we might have a direct or indirect emissions qualifying parameters. The recommended ones are pre-filled in our CBAM report. So as you can see here, we have a production 3 for cement. It is a generic production method. And in the direct emissions qualifying parameters, we have the clinker factor. And if we click in the expand button, we will see what we need to declare here. The clinker factor is a percentage. It is a typical value for a Portland cement. There is a default value, and I will put my percentage, that is 24%. Okay. Let me go further up in the, first of all, let's save our good because we haven't saved it yet. So I will press in the save button. Are you sure you want to save the changes in your good? Okay. And we are back in the view of our good. If we edit our good once again, and we go further down, we will see that the goods measure imported is now filled with the sum of the goods measure from each emissions entry. I have one emission entry, so all my tons come from the specific country of production, Japan, for my Portland cement. So basically, it took the 100 tons and pre-filled it here, along with the type of the measurement unit. The goods imported total emissions are also filled in. And if we go in our back in our emission entry, here you can see the country of production, Japan, and the name of the installation. And in the good level, we can see the CN code, the country of origin, and how many tons are imported for this good, for this good and this country of origin, and how many tons of CO2 tons of CO2 are produced for the specific 100 tons imported. Let's go inside our emission entry. So we filled in the parameters with the pre-filled options. And now we move on to the carbon price due. And let's go and see the elements here. So here there is a disclaimer, provide supplementary information for instrument reference description. Please provide the national legal basis of the carbon pricing scheme, including the implementing provision and their respective sources. Enclose with this report either a web page which provides direct access to it, or a copy of the relevant extracts of the final texts of the legal basis. And these two are to be provided under the supplementary tab in the supporting documents section. I pressed the add new in the carbon price due in order for us to view the elements. Here we have the country code where the carbon price was paid, the type of instrument. It could be a carbon tax, carbon levy, carbon fee, or emissions allowances under a greenhouse gas emission trading system in the context either of national or regional ETS. Then we have the, if I choose carbon tax, again, I need to describe and indicate the legal act under which this type of instrument is applicable for my case to pay carbon tax in this country, Japan. Then we need to declare the amount of the carbon price due, how much did we pay, and the currency. And as soon as these two elements are inserted, an exchange rate is applied depending on the currency, and the amount in euro is calculated. Apart from these fields here, we will need also to declare the type of product that this carbon price due is applicable. Is it the actual product or other materials? The quantity of emission covered, how many tons of CO2 are covered under this paid price, and the quantity covered by free allocations or any rebate or any other form of compensation. If we want, we can also add the CN of the product covered, any additional information and supplementary information, and also the quantity of the good for which these emissions are paid. I'm deleting this entry now, and I think we're okay to try and validate our good. Oops, it is valid. More often I don't put the country of production, so this is a very common mistake for me. I will save once again the report. It is saved, And now we'll save once again my my CBAM report, sorry, as draft. And I have 4 errors in my header level. So I click on the header and it is the signatures. Yes. And this you can see, here you can see the errors listed. Yes, I know. I don't have my full name here, which is Mark Smith. And I am a CBAM declarant. I need also to certify that the information provided to my best knowledge is accurate and complete. And I confirm that I accept that this information provided in here will be used from the Commission and the national competent authorities based on the regulation. I will save again the header of the report, validate again. The report now is valid. So I will press the submit button. And my report now is in the submitted state. As soon as my report went in the submitted state, it closed, and now I am viewing my quarterly report screen. Let me open the report here and make some amendments. So I will press the amend button. Here you can see that now we have the reporting period. The issue date, it's today, 1643 Athens time. The state is submitted, and I press in the amend action button. I have my official report ID as well. Let's go. Are you sure you want to amend this report? Yes. Okay. Now the state has changed to under amendment. I click on the report ID once again so that I can display my report, and I press on the edit button. Okay. Give me one moment. To open my notes. I was informed that inside the chat there are a lot of questions regarding the default values in the emissions. Let's go in the goods imported level. In my emissions. And let's go and see, sorry, this is my good. Let's go in the emissions level and in the emissions tab. So here we have the direct embedded emissions. In the direct embedded emissions, there are no default values used. Or, sorry, other methods including default values, but again, we need to define our specific direct embedded emission. What is the specific direct embedded emission? We said it is the ton of CO2 per ton of our Portland cement. So here we are always, the CBAM declarants are always the ones who define the specific direct embedded emissions. The difficulty is in the indirect embedded emissions. So the first scenario is, and it is always a combination of the type of determination and the source of emission factor. Give me one moment to drink some water, please. So what did I select here? I selected the type of determination to be actual data, and then I selected that the source of emission factor that I want to use is the commission based on International Energy Agency data. So by choosing the commission based on International Agency data, what happened is that the emission factor was prefilled with the data, the default value for the Japan country, which is the country of production for my cement, for my Portland cement. If we change what we have selected here, let's see, if we change, if we stick with actual data in the type of determination, but we change the source of emission factor to other, let me do it once again to see the difference, commission based on air data and other. The other source indication becomes mandatory, and there is another field also that comes up, and the emission factor is enabled. So now I can change the default value, and I say that no, it is not 49, it is 25.67. And as you can see, the specific indirect embedded emissions will be recalculated. Now it's 23.49. And I need also to specify what is the source of the emission factor that I used. Since it is not the Commission, known by the Commission, please specify what is the source. And please specify what is the other source of indication. So I don't know what to enter here to be practically realistic. So I will enter some dummy data. So this is the second scenario of default values. So by selecting actual data and in the source of emission factor, the other option, the emission factor becomes enabled. And that is it, I think. If the type of determination, there is also another scenario, if the type of determination is other methods, including default values, then the source of emission factor cannot be used, the electricity consumed cannot be used, the emission factor cannot be used, but we need to specify the specific indirect embedded emissions. So that was it regarding the CBAM goods and the default values. Let me validate. And save. And again, validate. Oops. There is error here. There's an error here. Let me quickly. Okay. I save the good. And I submit my amendment. Okay. So my report changed back the submit state. This was for the Portland cement. Yeah. And we can now upload a different report for the aluminium sector. And let me choose my file. That's it. This is my zip file containing the report for aluminium. I open it. I press OK. The quarter. Let me change the quarter. It is quarter 2, 2023. Inside your XML, you need to specify the quarter for which you will upload your report. Yeah, I'm trying to upload with XML the CBAM report for aluminium. But there is an error because I have prepared this XML for quarter 3, 2023. So I need to open my XML and change my quarter. Let me do that quickly. So it is quarter 2. Of 2023. I will save my XML. I need to go and zip it once again. Found. I zip my report for aluminium with zip. Okay. It is ready. We are ready to retry. I click on the upload button so that I can select my file. We can drag and drop it. Let me drag and drop it. Let's try that. Okay. I press OK. And my file was uploaded successfully, and we can see our draft CBAM report for aluminium already in our view of my quarterly reports. Let's click inside to see what I have put inside the XML. This is the view mode, as you can see here. So you have the header information, the declarant, the importer details, the representative details, the competent authority, the signatures are also inside the XML. And if we click on the good item, we can see also the HS code and the CN code. This is aluminium wire, the country of origin, which is United States, the requested procedure with the entire description, the quantity under this customs procedure, and so on and so on. And we can also see the emissions in this view mode. Let us edit the report. To go through the details, this is my reporting declarant, Mallory Sanders. He is again based in Belgium, unfortunately. The city is Brussels. We don't have much flexibility in this environment here. We have an importer, which is based in Belgium, a representative, a competent authority, where we belong, and the signatures. If we go to the goods imported, here we see that this good is not validated yet. We didn't press the validate button, so we need to edit the good and inspect what we have uploaded via the XML upload. This is our same code indeed. I didn't do any mistakes. The area of import is issued by means of customs import declarations. The requested procedure, again, it is 100 of tons of net weight of aluminium wires that I have imported. We have the goods total emissions, the goods emissions per unit of product, which are calculated. And if we go in the emissions level, we can see that we have an installation, an operator here, and an installation declared. Of course, we can delete this. If I want, I can delete this. The installation of the operator. I need to keep the country of production because this is very important for the CBAM reporting. And we can go to the emissions level where I declared the quantity produced in United States for my aluminium wires and my direct embedded emissions and my indirect embedded emissions. And the installation emissions as well. Let me validate this good to see it is valid. So now it is okay. I'm saving my changes. And if I validate also, let me close this. If I validate also the header of the report, it is valid. I think I'm confident that everything is correct inside my report, so I will not press the submit. I will press the submit button because I can do amendments. So here we are. We have created 2 CBAM reports. One manually via the user interface, and we have also uploaded a CBAM report via the XML upload functionality here. Should we take 5 minutes break and come back?
So hello, we are back again, and now Adriana will show you an example of XML, and we will respond. We will try to reply in the most of your questions for the rest time of this webinar.
Hello, everybody. We are back, as Maria said. Here is the my XML for our example of aluminium wire. So starting from the reporting period, it is very important to state the reporting period for which this XML will be uploaded. There is, to find the XML, you can go in the CBAM website under the CBAM Transitional Registry, and you can see that there is a CBAM quarterly report structure XSD format, and the CBAM, an example of a CBAM quarterly report sample uploaded there. So you can, this is what I took as well. I took a test XML and I edited in order to keep only the information required and the information that I wanted to declare and discuss. And so this is the year, the declarant group. It is not possible to, sorry, I'm also looking at the questions that I can answer for you. I can see that there is a question from Marcin that says, is it possible to re-upload report in XML file after it was submitted? No, it is not possible because the report has been submitted. If the report is in the draft state, though, we can delete the draft report. So if I create a report for the Q1 of 2023, and this is only available for me and my colleagues in the development environment, if I create a report here and I put a report ID 2023 Q1 Q1 D1, and I also put my name, Adriana, and my role is to be, I am an importer for all goods. So I act as an importer and I sign that everything is okay. Okay, sorry. And place Brussels. And let's Anna Mahera and CBAM Declarant, among others. I certify that everything is accurate, etc. And I save as draft without any good. I can save it because it is not validated. And I go back, sorry, and I go back to my quarterly reports. I can see my draft here. And if I open it, I can delete it. So now, since I deleted it, I can upload an XML. But my XML is not ready because now, sorry, the quarter for which I have created the XML is not correct. I need to be Q1. And again, I will report this is the declarant, my representative. The importer, the national competent authority, my signatures. And I can see that there is a question regarding the third country operator and the third country installation, if it is mandatory information for the quarterly report. No, this information is optional. The only mandatory element that is in this page, in the page of, sorry, of the emissions, here is the country of production. Are there any other questions? Maybe I can continue. Where can the technical requirements of the XML be found? There is the XSD uploaded in the web page of CBAM under the CBAM Transitional Registry menu, I think. Yes, I can see a reply by Nick Olivier that says, for each uploaded good via XML, you are still required to validate it manually, or can, sorry, I cannot see, or can I select all and validate? No, you cannot select all, I'm afraid. This is something that we are looking at, but for now, for the release that I have presented to you, it is not possible to validate all the goods at once. And if there are errors, to tell you the truth, it will not be very handy to validate all the goods at once, because the errors will be a long list, not easily managed in order to correct every error. Giorgos Kavroulakis is also here with us. He can reply to some questions from his side. Please, Giorgos, if you take the floor.
Yes, thank you. Is my sound clear? Loud?
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay, we have received hundreds of questions. We'll try to consolidate and group them and reply to as many as possible in frequently asked questions. I have noted a few frequent questions that I have seen many times in the chat. For example, for the default values, we reply that they will be published in December until the end of the year, and then you will have these values, so you can use them as of January, that the reporting period will start. Concerning there were several questions about the test environment. This is the conformance environment. We gave you the link in the slides. Okay, this environment can be accessed by the economic operators, CBAM declarants, but the NCA must grant you the access permission to this environment. It's a separate environment in another access. It's not the same access as the production environment. Okay, so then NCA must grant access to its economic operator that will be acting as a CBAM declarant. Okay, and it's possible to have this access either via the CBAM domain or via the customs domain. You cannot have access in both domains. So its NCA, its country, has opted to use to manage the declarant users under either the CBAM domain or the customs domain. So it depends on your NCA. You must ask them if you're not sure under which domain, CBAM or customs, you will have access. Okay, and the declarants can be either the importer or the representative, and it is possible to delegate for the economic operator to delegate access to their employees. So about your onboarding to get access to the CBAM registry, you will need as much as possible to have access until the end of the year in order to be able to report if you need to report for Q4 of 2023 as of January 1st of January 2024. The report submissions and production will start on 1st of January 2024. That's why right now you cannot start drafting or editing one report in production, but this is possible in conformance if you will be given access by your NCA. Okay, and there was several questions, similar questions about operators and installations. The third country operators, what we call operators, are the ones that are operating the installations where the CBAM goods are produced. Okay, and this operators and installations registry in the CBAM form, in the CBAM in the Declarant Portal, is useful for you just to save, let's say, your frequently used operators, not to type them in again and again in the CBAM form. So this is for your facilitation to feel easier the CBAM form. And about the XML, Andriana explained the values for the data elements in the XML. Some values there are like predefined list, drop-down list in the user interface. Okay, we're going to publish in addition to the NCA, not to the NCA, to the declarant user manual that explains also which elements are mandatory, optional. Please consult this manual because many questions can be answered by looking at not the declarant user manual, but we will publish in addition an XML file with all the lists of data that need to be added in the XML. So, okay, in some fields are free text, okay, there we have no predefined values, but wherever there are predefined values, you will be able to, let's say, use this XLS that has different tabs for each list of data values that you need for specific elements. Okay, and also you can consult the CBAM Europa site for all the guidance that is already published there, and it's frequently updated. You can also find there information about the NCA contact points. Okay, there is a provisional list. We have mentioned this at the beginning. So, and for any questions about other sectors, today we speak about cement and aluminium, but you know there is one more webinar coming on 30th of November for fertilizers and electricity, and another one for hydrogen and iron and steel on 7th of December. So this is what I had to say. Okay, we will publish as many replies as possible to the other questions, to the frequently asked questions in the Europa site for CBAM. And now we are approaching to the end of the time foreseen for this webinar. So I would like to thank you for your attendance, and we will be back next Thursday with the next webinar on fertilizer and electricity sectors. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining this session.